are live.
We are live. I'm Mark Tullis. This is my partner, Kirsten Kuhlman. We are Coffee Cup Productions. Streaming live via Sling Studio at Nashwood. And we have
one and only
Nicholas Barron.
I'm right here, baby, right next to you. Get real close.
Oh my God.
I can see it. I see the moon.
Hi, Nicholas.
How you doing?
Hi.
Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you for stopping by. Don't look at that. You
I'm
can't
sorry.
look at that because
Yeah,
it's
you'll
delay
get-
and you're
you'll
gonna screw
get-
I'm just
yourself up.
shocked at how much my beard
How
is
gorgeous
grown.
you are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whoa.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh!
right? Look at how
Over
gorgeous
Brad
you are.
Pitt, you bastard.
Yeah, when
So-
we saw you in Evanston, you were not a bearded man.
It was
A
probably a
little
short
bit.
version.
Yeah, a little
shorter
bit
version.
bearded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
My lady wants me to do the Willie Nelson braids thing, which
Oh.
I'm probably not going to do. I might do it when I'm 95.
Yeah.
95.
Yeah.
But at least the beard part.
Beard's nice.
Do I need to get closer? All right. Okay.
There you go.
So,
What's up, fellas?
what a great pick you are for Nashwood. You got so many great singer-songwriter feels to you, and
Thanks, man.
I remember when we first met and your first Swimmer album came out. You've been writing and doing that singer-songwriter, adapting everybody else's music and collaborating and putting your own music together for a long time. It's pretty cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been making my living playing music for 32 years.
Wow.
32 years.
Wow.
I'm 33. When I was a baby, I decided.
You came out singing.
I said to myself, I'm ready now. I'm going to go out into the world and do my thing. Anyway, yeah. I was a year old. I was a genius. Ahead of my time. No, yeah, I've been making my living since 1986, playing music. So almost 32. Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty great.
And also I'm a painter. I'm an artist too.
Yes,
so-
I see that.
So I
was
choose things that are
just-
very, very make a lot of money.
So Nicholas has a website, and you can
Nope.
either do his music or his art.
Make
So,
oh geez,
yeah, I know.
decision.
Isn't this cool?
We
So
own an original.
We do own an original,
guys do?
Nicholas Barron.
Yeah.
We do. I bought one at the
We do.
Evanston gig.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
It goes into our
Yeah.
Superman cave.
The I'm Not Superman cave.
Yeah, there's some neat stuff there. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely the super creative
Thank you.
artist
Thank
as
you.
well as
Thank you.
singer.
Thank you.
Yes. Totally.
Appreciate that.
Oh, Nicholas, could you hold your guitar up
hold
just
your
a little
guitar
bit?
up.
That's a work of
art too.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that. Look at
Yeah.
Yeah, this
that
camera.
is-
Oh, sorry. This camera here.
yeah, that
Sorry.
is awesome. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
beautiful.
So basically, what that is that I just I drew on it with a black oil paint marker because
Mhm.
everything I can't tell my kids not to draw on the walls or anything. 'Cause everything, cars. If there's a white car, I saw a white truck today. I'm like, oh my goodness. Give me 5 minutes. It's covered. So all my guitars are painted. They're drawn on. They're painted on, and this one's got the Willie Nelson effect with a hole.
Cool.
Yeah, which happened naturally over time, and sweated off this part. But that's why I was in New Orleans, and I just wanted to. The place is festive, so I wanted to have kind of a confetti kind of a vibe. Not Confederate. No, that's a different
No,
thing.
no.
Confetti.
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 Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah.
So
better.
you know what? You just connected New Orleans and Nashville.
Oh.
There's like and Chicago. Those three towns.
And Memphis.
Yeah.
And Memphis.
And Memphis.
Yeah. Memphis for
And-
blues.
Yeah.
Really blues heavy.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
And R&B. Yeah, it's just it's just the history, you know,
Mhm.
stacks,
Mhm.
whatnot.
There seems to be a connection. I know there's something deep about groove. I know there are fests and venues, but can you tell me like why there seems to be so much interchange between those three markets and Memphis too?
Well, I think New Orleans is clearly it's the birthplace of maybe Africa's the birthplace, but the birthplace of all this rhythmic stuff.
Mhm.
So the gospel music. I mean, it all comes from whatever bubbled up from there. I think
Mhm.
So I kind of went to New Orleans in the last 20 years, but in the last 5 years, heavy, and I was always there anyway. And I didn't even know it. I was like, those voices and Professor Longhair and Alan Toussaint, and I mean the list goes on and on. And then our friend John Cleary. So it's all in the gumbo or whatever, the soup,
yeah.
the soup,
The gumbo.
the tortilla soup. I think it's a whole other thing. It's chips. It's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's just a roots organic, sweaty, soulful thing. And then my band Swimmer, that was 20 years ago now, had most of that band was, you know, gospel guys from the West Side and the South Side who've gone on to play with big R&B people. So I got that whole gospel thing too. And even the white players I played with who were coming out of that whole thing were influenced by those guys. So their playing was also, you know, heavily influenced by gospel, which I think is influenced. It's all part of that stream down there, you know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the whole singer-songwriter thing with lyrics and poetry and hip-hop culture and, you know, all these things that have affected the whole thing, the whole mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And,
the pedal
the
bars.
pedal
It's
bars,
still going
yeah.
strong.
Oh,
They're
man.
getting drunker and drunker as it gets darker.
Getting drunk and drunk.
I don't know if they should have
Yeah.
plotted the course to cross the tracks.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
Let's
Probably
go
a
when the
bad
train's
idea.
coming.
Yeah.
Take some chances.
Probably a bad idea. That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's there's definitely that and that the collaborative and the improvisational and
Improvisational. And also just the, I always say the spice.
Mm-hmm.
It's spicy. Now, I went, in the last 5 years when I went from, I'd never been to Nashville, so I went from New Orleans, actually Memphis to New Orleans, up to Nashville after New Orleans. And Nashville was a disappointment to me. It really was, because it was, and I need to go back and I need to I'm
Yeah.
not putting it down,
Yeah.
but it was just that after being in New Orleans, which is a very black city, it's jazz, there's a history there, heritage. I mean, kids are playing, you know, they're playing trombone, they're playing, you know, the kids are learning these instruments and they're in these second line groups and it's part of the fabric. And then you go to Memphis, New Orleans, Nashville, thank
yeah.
you. Whoops. And it's like, it's very white. I feel like it was the Los Angeles of the South. I mean, I just didn't feel, I didn't go at the right time. I didn't have that experience.
yeah,
But
you
New
got to go to
Orleans-
Nashville and then
Yeah.
go to New Orleans.
Yeah,
then
it just
come-
didn't
yeah.
feel, I just
Slide on.
felt like, because I'm
This
really
way
coming
instead
out
of
of
this
black
way.
music,
Yeah.
and I didn't really feel that there, though I know that's maybe crossing over a bit. But then there's the singer-songwriter thing, which I totally relate to, and there's that whole thing. So there's, you know, in the country music thing, I like a lot of that stuff. But yeah.
So, what are you writing about now?
I wrote a song today, but I just wrote it today, so I will not be able to remember it. I was going to bring my iPad over. I just wrote it. It's basically called "Be the Rain," because I was thinking about it's almost impossible to write a song about, oh God, about racism and what we've always been dealing with, you know, segregation, hatred, yada yada. Not yada yada, but you know, it's just hard to write about and not sound cheesy. And Bob Dylan's done it, and some other people have done it well. So it's hard to do it.
What do you know?
Right, exactly. But I wrote this song, what I've been realizing is that the more simple something is, it's hard to be simple. Just say "be the rain." I say "be the rain." I forget what I just wrote it. I'm so bad. It takes me a while to get stuff. But you know, yeah. I really felt. I was walking today. I write songs when I'm walking, often with a dog, and this happened, and then I went home and wrote it. But and I wish I could play it to you right now. That's the worst part. I can't. I'm talking about it, and I can't play it. What a failure I am, 'cause I can't remember the hymn. Be the rain, be the rain. Those are some of the chords, but yeah.
Do you want to talk about a song you do know how to play?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I have a lot of songs, which I'm playing actually. If it's okay to say, I'm playing tomorrow night with a cellist named Ben Davis. At Saturday, the 26th of August, I'm playing at a place called Cultivate in Evanston, and this is our third gig. He plays with Bobby McFerrin, or played with Bobby McFerrin, and they did a thing where literally they learned no music. It was completely improvised.
Oh, wow.
Which I find is a rare thing.
Yeah.
Completely improvised, and Ben had to kind of be. It was him, Bobby McFerrin, and a percussionist. So they had to. So he had to be. He plays upright bass on the cello. He plays string parts, and then he improvises, and he hits. I mean, he does everything.
Wow.
So it requires that he's super creative, and which is my favorite thing. And so with me, you know, it's our third gig, and we're doing all original, like 20-something of my tunes, all original stuff. And there are lines in them. I can give you an example. Can I? Yes.
Yeah.
You can. Absolutely.
My
That's
guitar,
okay.
That's a good-
my guitar
good
fell in my
guitar,
ass,
yeah.
and I thought it was a raccoon. I was like, damn. I was playing a concert last week outside in these people's yard. It was an outdoor concert, house concert. And all of a sudden I looked down, and their dog that looked like an opossum.
Oh, no.
It looked like a fucking possum.
no.
I swore.
That's
It
okay.
looked like a possum, and I literally stopped and I went, "Oh my God!" And it was literally their dog who was 15 years old. I was just like, My brain registered it as an opossum, and I just
The
froze.
dog felt shame.
Oh my God, the dog
poor
ran
dog.
away in shame. And everyone was like, "Oh my God!" Like, I scared everybody, even though they knew it was their dog. That was not a good thing. Yeah.
Share with us now.
All right, I'm gonna share your song. This is a song called "Heavyweight."
Okay.
It's about Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
I was giving a lesson I give songwriting lessons sometimes, and I was giving a lesson to this guy, and he said, we finished the lesson. He said, "Man, you have a heavy brain," and he walked away, and I'm like, you have a heavy brain. So I started writing a song about me, and you can't write a song about yourself like that. And I realized that I was really writing about Muhammad Ali, who is one of my heroes as a human being. And then anyway, so it's called Heavyweight.
All right.
He's a heavyweight with a heavy brain. Heavy cat knew where it was at. Flow like a butterfly, stung like a bee. The greatest of all time, you could never disagree. And you never know a word when that fella was near. He took care of all the sharks and the bad. Well, you never knew fear when that dude was near. Nobody ever came near, was a heavyweight brother. And there's never been no other. He was a heavyweight brother. It ain't no time for subtle, no time for hustle. He took care of all that trouble. He was a heavyweight brother. Well, he transcended color and he transcended race, and there's never been another with such brutal grace. And he used words like a poet, as fierce as a lion. The world's all-time greatest showman, TKO'd all them lies. He was a heavyweight champ and a heavyweight man. Yeah, he knocked the truth right out with a surprise liver hook right to the chin textbook. Man, he was a king, no doubt. He was a heavyweight brother. And there's never been nobody else, no other. He was a heavyweight brother. And he no time for subtle. He got no time for hustle. Took care of all that trouble. He was a heavyweight brother. He was a heavyweight brother. He was a heavyweight with a heavy brain. A heavy cat knew where it was at. And he floated like a butterfly and he stung like a bee. The greatest of all time, few can disagree. And you never knew fear when that dude was near. 'Cause he took care of all the sharks and the rats. And you know he was that fat cat, man, he took care of them rats. He was a heavyweight brother. No, there's never been no other. Oh, he was a heavyweight brother, heavyweight brother. Heavyweight brother, heavyweight brother, heavyweight brother.
And you beat the train.
I know. I was trying.
Awesome.
That was Nicholas Barron. What a great way to wrap up our whole live stream at Nashwood. And
Now they're all deaf.
Thanks for coming,
Oh,
Nicholas. Thank you.
Thanks
thank
for
you.
Thanks. That's
And
it.
Where are you
I
going to be
want to talk. I
next?
want to talk for another 20 minutes.
You can't come back.
Okay.
We'll do a
No,
coffee
what were we going to say?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where are you going to be next?
Tomorrow night at Cultivate in Evanston,
Okay.
8 to 10:30, 704 Main Street, Evanston.
Okay.
Sundays, I'm at Buddy Guys from noon to 3 every
Okay.
Sunday. And nicholasbarron.com, and I just do tons of different house concerts and so forth.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do that a lot because
Okay.
then I can do my own music.
Yeah.
And people
nice.
still buy CDs because no one at those house concerts owns a computer.
Yes,
So they don't
that's
know anything
true. They
about
have-
Spotify.
They
and
have a
they're
whole
like,
different
they want to,
appreciation,
I'll buy
yeah.
a CD.
Yeah.
Really? It was a CD player. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
thanks, Nicholas.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Thanks.